In this video, we're going to cover how to do questions like this one where we need to find the gradient between 2 points, but we're not given the graph that they're from. The normal way you'd find the gradient is using this equation here where we divide the change in y by the change in x. However, if we're only given coordinates rather than the graph, then it's easier to use this equation, which is basically the same thing, but tells us that we can find the change in y by doing y2 minus y1 because that will just give us the difference between the y values, and we can find the change in x by doing x2 minus x1. The tricky thing with this equation, though, is knowing what all of these x and y's mean, but actually they just represent the x and y values of our two coordinates. So x1 and y1 are the x and y values of the first coordinate, meaning x1 is 2 and y1 is 3, whilst x2 and y2 are the x and y values of the second coordinate, so x2 is 8 and y2 is 12. It doesn't actually matter which set of coordinates you choose to put as the first and the second, but in general it'll be easier to work out if you put the biggest numbers as the second set. So because 8 and 12 are bigger numbers than 2 and 3, we put 8 and 12 as x2 and y2. So now that we have our formula and we know what all the x and y's are, we just plug the values into the formula. So for y2 minus y1 we'll have 12 minus 3 on the top, and for x2 minus x1 we'll have 8 minus 2 on the bottom. Then we can simplify this to get 9 divided by 6, and that would just be 1.5. So we know that the gradient between our 2 points is 1.5. To give this some more practice, let's have a look at this one where we need to find the gradient between the points 11, 7 and 8, -2. So the first thing we need to do here is choose which pair is going to be the first coordinate and which is going to be the second. And remember, it's normally easiest if we make the bigger coordinate the second one, so we'll make 11, 7 a second, meaning that 11 is x2 and 7 is y2, so 8 is x1 and -2 is y1. Then all we have to do is plug these numbers into our formula. So on the top we'll have 7 minus -2, and for the bottom we'll have 11 minus 8, which simplifies to 9/3, which is just 3. So the gradient between our 2 points is 3. One last thing that I want to point out is that we can also use this method even if we are given a graph, because we can just pick 2 points on the line and then use those coordinates. So for this question where we need to calculate the gradient of the line, we'd start by picking any 2 points along the line like these two and then label them both, so 0, -1 and 4, -7. Next we need to choose which ones can be the first coordinate and which one is going to be the second, but it doesn't really matter this time because this one has the bigger x value but this one has the bigger y value, so we'll just pick this one to be our first and this one to be our second. And now that we know what all the values are, we just plug them into our formula. So -7 minus -1/4 minus 0, giving you -6 on top and 4 on the bottom. So you just do -6 divided by 4, which is -1.5, and that's your answer. Anyway, that's everything for this video. So I hope that was helpful to you. If it was, then please do give us a like and subscribe, and cheers for watching.